Here's all the late nights, driving to your parents' house.
Hello listeners, and welcome to another week on Chasm Converses. My guest this week is Clayton Francis, indie electro-pop artist from Brisbane in Australia. We talk about his debut EP, Best Friend, and take a trip back to his beginnings, learning violin, becoming part of a band as a bassist, to his venture in writing the EP, which features an ode to his wife, who's remained his best friend since their high school days over 12 years ago. Join us, and let's get conversing.
Chasm Converses.
Clayton Francis, welcome to Chasm Converses.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's so cool to have you on here, man. Whereabouts are you joining me from today? Are you in Brisbane in Australia?
I am in Brisbane, Australia. It's the first of spring today.
Hell yeah. It's the first of
For
autumn
us.
over here for me in London. So the absolute.
So I'm looking at the good next 6 months. You're looking at
I know, just straight back into like just more rain and coldness heading into that chilly December, I suppose you could call it. But even so, man, no, it's really cool.
Rotting weather.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's really cool to meet you, man. I'm really keen to have a chat with you about a bunch of stuff because, you know, you're a singer-songwriter, you got some songs out, you just released a brand new EP, so we'll get to all of that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Further on down the track. But yeah, I'd love to go back and sort of talk to you about your start in music. Like, was music something that you always wanted to kind of do from a young age, or was it something that you sort of fell into a bit later on in life?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it can have a long answer. So hopefully
we've got plenty of time.
Good. I guess, yeah. Like, so my first introduction to music and stuff, I guess, playing, was playing classical violin.
Oh wow!
At school, yeah. So that was like grade 4, which is like it's pretty like that's young. Like I guess.
Yeah. Incredible.
And yeah, I hated it. During that time, I definitely despised it. It took me away from the things that I thought I liked, which was, you know, playing sport with my friends. It was like I was the only boy, basically.
Right. Yeah.
In the school doing
Learning violin.
Yeah, which is kind of cool looking back. You're like, oh, dang, I should, you know.
Oh,
like,
man.
seized that opportunity.
It's such a weird thing, man. Like, even when I was in school and I joined like the choir, I was maybe one of two or three guys. And then I had that same sort of thing when like all my friends were out at lunchtime playing like sport and shit.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, oh man, I don't know if this is right for me right now.
Yeah, it's funny that, hey. So yeah, like that was during primary school. And then as soon as I entered high school, I was like, nah, I'm not continuing this.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, like, and I absolutely regret that now, looking back as a musician and a writer, and I'm like, oh man, what I could do, like, I used to listen to like, what was his name, like, you know, Skillet, Skillet, and like they had like the perfect blend of what was going with like the punk, emo punk stuff, and but then like the orchestral stuff and like their riffs, man.
Dude, just so good. Even like their vocalization and like, especially I think it was like the 2000. When was it? It was like the like 2011, 2010 era when they had like Monster came out, like Awake came out, and they had like Hero and Monster, and they had like Comatose and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was some good shit.
I was definitely. I'm definitely a eclectic kind of listener. So like. I'll like bits and things of people and I'll be aware of stuff, but I won't know full catalogs. But anyways, like, so I was probably we probably grew up, you're probably around the same age as me, where like it was like you owned a fandom, or it's still to this day. I feel like everyone's really held on to their like music or their fandom and be like, no, you're not a real fan. I don't know about, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just talking about how like,
I sort of have like the like when you've got your bands from the past and you sort of like you know all that shit about them and everything like that, and you kind of hold that quite tight.
You're like, you don't know them as good as
I knew them from back then when they were like had all this sort of stuff, and
before they sold out, like
could
talk about this forever with like a Paramore or whatever. But anyways.
100%. No, I do understand that feeling. Yeah.
So sorry, I like to just expand everything. Yeah, so entered high school. My parents actually they bought me, probably ended up buying me lots of like guitars for for a Christmas, and then a couple of years later Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a great child and didn't learn or didn't want to play it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, something clicked. I think so I'd played violin in primary school, and then I was always I had a really good ear, and I'd always listen to the radio in the car with mum and dad, and tastes from them influenced me. But like I would remember like commercials, and I'd always sing them back the next time they were on. Like you know what I mean? Like they'd be in the commercial, go back to the TV show, and by the next time I could remember and I would sing the melody back.
Yeah, right. Cool.
So like I'd always, from as far back as I can remember, that kind of was always with me.
Mm-hmm.
Could just remember lyrics and songs, but couldn't remember like someone's phone number. But anyways,
the important things, right?
There's something like about music, like it has its flow and dynamic that like you can, it's almost like not predictable, but like you can anticipate it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, when I was 15, wow, full circle.
Yeah.
Was when I started dating my now wife.
Oh wow, really?
And she's actually the reason. I haven't thought about this with the song and stuff, but
yeah.
Until now, talking to you, she was probably one of the catalysts for pursuing learning like guitar, and by that I mean. At the time, it was like Snow Patrol's.
Chasing Cars.
Yeah,
that one. Yeah,
yeah, dude. So like, literally, my introduction to, because I had tried before with like tablet books or
tabs and stuff. Yeah, tablature.
Tabs and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's tablature. Yeah, I was trying to think. And it kind of just doesn't click with you when. Like it makes full sense to me. Yeah. As a person, you play guitar, yes?
Yeah. I learned tablature back in high school, and that I didn't mind that, but I also didn't like that because they taught that instead of actually teaching sheet music. So it's like I can't read sheet music, but I can read tablature, and I'm kind of like,
that's the thing. I learned sheet music and notes.
Yeah.
Before, you know what I mean, through violins. So
yeah, exactly.
And I knew I hated it. I could sight read, which was pretty cool, but now,
wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I could sight read and literally do it.
Cool.
And okay, so another side tangent.
Yeah, let's do it.
So for someone who could read sheet music, it's like you just see that shape on the page or the sheet, and your finger just does it.
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
like. It's just like this muscle. It's like you just see that, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the third finger, but you don't.
Yeah. It's absolutely like muscle memory through practice. I think. Yeah,
it's awesome. Like I remember looking back, I'm like, that you feel like at the time you just like
Yeah.
So, anyways, I still had that.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's just a good insight. Because
100%.
no one ever really explains it to you. They're like, oh yeah, I just read sheet.
No, they don't.
Because my wife plays. She's classically trained through piano and stuff, so she can do that. But I'm like, can you play me like a 6-5-4-1? And she's like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I forget who I'm talking to here.
Yeah, it's always so
mom,
strange. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So, my mom played accordion, which is like an incredible. So she plays bass and treble at the same time. Anyways.
Wow.
So she can read music.
Yeah.
To this day, because that's the only way she can play.
Yeah, of course.
Like it trips me out. Like because a long way down the road now as a writer. I don't know about yourself, but like it's just like I don't need to write anything down or read anything off a page to be able to, I guess, create
to come up with something. I mean? Yeah.
It's like
I understand that.
You're just like, what someone will be like, why did you do? I'm like, I don't know. It sounded like in my head, it just sounded like I could.
Yeah, yeah. It's the hardest thing for me is like I have that sort of because I'm not theoretically trained much at all, but I have a similar thing where I can come up with a lot of stuff in my head, and trying to put that down is the hardest part because I'm trying to find a form in which to do it. Like I'm at the point where I can literally come up with like full blown like metalcore songs in my brain and have it all just there, but then I'm just like, I don't know how to play any of these instruments to get them down and to create it myself. Right. So I just have to kind of like remember it and try to just like write some part of it down so it's still like stuck in there for like future references. But it's always so strange hearing like, and as you say, so insightful listening to like how other people sort of were trained in like notation or like theory work and how they kind of work that stuff into their music. And it seems like, you're very well versed in the style that you have to be able to like, create your own music too.
Yeah, so I guess this is nice. It's kind of like a timeline and then an offshoot of explanation.
Yeah,
so
this is what we do. This is what we do here.
when I was like, oh man, I get to like talk for like as long as I want about my music. I'm like, man, this is the best. Like, I was like, I get indulged.
Exactly. Yeah,
because I just enjoyed to talk about this sort of not nerdy stuff.
Yeah, you don't always get the opportunity to do it either. So it's like, it's that's why it's such a cool thing when I do have people sort of like, talking about stuff. I can kind of see them be like, yeah, they're really branching out into everything because they have all that in the back of their mind that they want to like, put forward and all the rest of it. It's exciting. It's very exciting for me to listen to. So yes, please do continue.
I love just creative energy and people. So back to I learned chasing cars, and I was a huge Snow Patrol fan.
Yeah.
And so I would learn like a few of their catalog, and I learned that of chasing cars, but that was like it. I was like, cool. Now what am I writing? Like, what am I writing?
Yeah.
And like I just felt I always had that desire and drive to want to just create. Like, and I look back and like I was always a very imaginative child and stuff. Very make believe play and stuff.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yep.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like so from 15 basically I kind of knew I wanted to pursue music and just, I guess not pursuing like here's a mapped out and blah blah blah, but just like I want to immerse myself and I want this to be a part of my personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So did everything I could to to just be immersed in it. So from 15, I guess, coming from like, I'm very sporty upbringing and stuff. So like all my friends played sports still. So like 15, I didn't really have friends that were doing music. Like it was just, I had to kind of branch out. I had to like feel awkward and be like, oh, you like John Mayer? I like John Mayer.
Have those conversations
to the like guitarist in our grade, and they're like, I look back, I'm like, oh man, I must have seemed so green.
Dude, I can 100% relate to you, man. I literally started, I started doing music halfway through year 11 in high school. And so, and I knew how to do, I literally knew literally nothing. Like I knew how to play like a few power chords on the guitar and that's about it. And so everyone else was like,
you knew more than me.
Everyone else was literally looking to like, do their, their ensemble performances and that sort of stuff. And I'm just like, hey guys, I'm starting music right now.
Yeah, it's so funny. But like you look back, you're like, oh, like not everyone was like, you know what I mean? Like you're at a level probably where you're like, you did it. Like they obviously accepted you into the class or whatever. Because I was similar. What happened? I think, so 15 is like grade 10 here. And then I had grade 11. I'm probably trying to just be better. And then I think I joined, I elected to do music, and I was so like, I was like, all right, I think I still remember like sheet music, like that was like my thing, like
that's my
sheet music, and it was like just like pure like just like like motivation of like, yeah, I can do music.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember doing like a performance of like Hallelujah. Oh man.
Oh wow, really?
That's hard.
Yeah,
like,
I'd expect so. That's a lot to go for on the first shot.
Especially like, yeah, dude. Like, because when you're new to guitar, I don't know for the people listening if they're not playing, if they haven't learned guitar or whatever, but like, acoustic, like, because I played it on acoustic.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm what, like a year or two in learning. That's hard. Acoustic's like a lot different than like an electric, which I started. That's how I learned was electric because it's so
same.
Power chords, like because it's like it's
power chords and riffs
so close. Yeah. Anyways, that's a hard song, and I just got some flashbacks. Ugh. But because I probably just absolutely pooped it, but anyways,
no, that sounds awesome, man. No, that's really good. And I guess from doing those performances and whatever, and like sort of branching out, how did you go getting into music sort of when you left high school and you went into like the real world?
So I made, like, our school was pretty small, so one thing or another, I met some musicians through my wife, through friends, through like some youth groups and stuff.
Cool.
And made friends with like the popular musos there.
Yeah.
And there, who a couple years down the road, we started a band.
Sweet.
So and they started as like a folk acoustic duo, and I was like, yeah, I write music. Just like, I just want to be in a band and do that. They're like, yeah, sure. Can you play bass? I was like, I guess I can learn.
Of course.
So that was probably when I was like 20. Yeah, it was like 20 was when that band started.
Yeah.
And really cut a lot of my chops, cut my teeth on like the like what it really meant to write. Because like up until then, with like, I didn't really have a MacBook until I was like, out of school, and for those with MacBooks, like Logic, or GarageBand is even more accessible.
Yeah, of course.
But so Logic and stuff, and like it was just very rudimental things. Like I really didn't have the capacity to produce for a while, and so the band was a really informative and developmental time, because we actually went and with a producer here in Brisbane who's like a popular he's a lecturer at the Con for popular music and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And so and his name's Caleb James, and basically I owe like all my like insider knowledge to him. So we ended up doing 2 EPs with him.
Right. Okay.
And that saved me going to uni and studying that.
Right.
with that particular like professor. I hope no one from there is listening and being like, don't, shut up, like, come pay tuition. But I literally while my bandmates were like singing or recording their things, and as bass I don't really have as much to do as
I mean, I was the bassist for 9 years, man. I know exactly what you mean.
right. So as soon as like, it's like drums is tracked first and then bass is that. So but I was there as much as I could be, as like I'd be the first to arrive and last to leave. Essentially. And just like a fly on the wall of how he did everything. And so that helped inform everything I know now. That helped, like, he taught us some like the basic songwriting stuff to advanced songwriting stuff, like,
sick.
And so that was very developmental. And then the band and us, we all kind of just went our own way in like 2017.
Yeah.
And then for a couple of years, I was like, I still just want to do music.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
that's all I want to do. And luckily had a mate who had some like success with like influential like people out there.
Yep.
And so he kind of was like, oh, I'm gonna now pursue, like, so he's doing YouTube stuff, vlogging and stuff. He's like, I want to do music. I was like, well, I write. Like, it was just to keep me busy while, like, because the band wasn't anymore.
Yeah.
I wasn't really a singer. Like, I still have insecurities as a singer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
dude, yeah, the same. I have real bad ones. Real bad ones. I'm like, oh man, I'm still so like, I mean, screaming, I'm still developing quite well. When it comes to clean singing, that's some stuff that I've still got to, like, I sound good, but there's just like lots of just little indiscrepancies there that have to be sort of figured out and fixed. They can be in like, you know, recording and like post and that sort of stuff, but it's kind of like, oh, I'd rather fix them before that, just because they'll sound better.
Right. My singing teacher, I was like, she's awesome. She can do everything. She's so well trained and
wonderful.
She's taught me to be as good as I am now. I'm like so thankful. And then I was like, hey, do you know how to like teach people how to scream?
Yes.
It's just like, yeah, I do. And I was like, oh, I would love.
Yeah.
Even though I wouldn't do it, like, it's just like I would love to be able to do it. If someone was like, oh, this screamer song's on. Yeah.
You could just like start screaming along to it, be like, yeah, I can do this and not hurt myself. This is great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because like, I don't want to hurt myself. She's like, I can teach you.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so much skill to it. It would take so much skill to it.
It does. It's weird. It's. I mean, I've been learning it for quite a few years, but I've gotten to a good point where I'm still sort of looking around different spots and different like sort of functions of how to change it and switch it around and stuff like that. But yeah, and it's so cool, man. But like, it is one of those kind of. Cool. It's one of those kind of things that, like, you know, when especially if you listen to like, you know, Skillet and whatever, if you listen to different bands growing up, and you hear them doing it. Sometimes you're just like, man, I want to sing to this, but I can't sing because they're screaming. So like, I want to scream to this, and so it's like, I just want to like know how to do that just so I can do that. Like, I might not, you know, record music with it or whatever, but like, it would just be so good just to do it, just to be like, yeah, cool, I can do it.
Yeah. No, I would absolutely love to be able to do that.
Yeah, man, that's so cool. So I guess like from there, like, I guess just learning all the tools of the trade through the person that was like mixing and recording your band's EP and like that sort of thing must have just given you a lot of the skills to sort of, I guess, you know, work with other people. And then so did that kind of eventually drag you on into wanting to do your own sort of solo stuff and build that up?
Yeah, I guess so. So the band broke up in 2017. My sister also passed away in 2017.
Right.
So like, it was a very depressing year.
Yeah, I would expect so.
And so I was just grieving, I guess.
Yeah.
And I really hadn't found, because like we were trying to find our sound as a band at the time that we were ending anyway. So like we didn't find it, which can happen sometimes. The band, like your band's just like you might not sound like what you want, or anyways. So like I don't know, like I was like, all right, band broke up, you know, the sad thing happened to my family, and then I was just writing with friends and other artists and stuff to just kind of keep going, keep swimming, even though like, it was like you know, grief is a hard thing. Like, it just kind of makes you just not want to do anything.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have a project in mind that was me. It was just like, oh, I could write for you and I'll be in your band and just be like not a ghost producer or whatever, but like I'll ride along on the coattails or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like, I literally wrote the beginning line of one of my songs called You're the One That Got Away. And the line was just like, the sun is up. Sun is up, but I'm asleep, falling deeper into these sheets. And I just like knew that summed up how I felt
Yeah.
and was like, oh, this, like, that was so organic and earnest that like I was like, oh, this could be me.
Yeah.
And then just kept writing with that like kind of spirit of like oh, if I'm writing from this like perspective and how like just very all influential.
Yeah.
I had like a little bit of like a sonic sound that I had in mind. And yeah, I guess like now is, what is it? The rest is history.
Yeah.
And so Best Friend is like that full circle of like, you know, beginning of music, started music because of my wife, kind of just like, I don't know, I started learning guitar to impress her because, you know what I mean? Like, and now this song is literally about like so there's a line in the chorus, like, kiss for the first time on my couch.
Yeah.
Was because, so we started dating in like and our first kiss we had was on like Valentine's Day, February.
Oh wow, yeah.
And it was on my parents' couch, and
sweet.
So like it, as the song is reaching as far back as like 6 months into our relationship, and how, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's so cool, man. Like, I mean, I think all of us guys can be like, yeah, we've done many things in our lives to impress a girl that we like, including taking up instruments or, you know, doing all that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
But that's so cool, man. I love the fact that, you know, you guys have obviously, you know, you've been together for as long as that, and she's been such a big part in your musical journey, like leading all the way up to obviously the EP and all the songs that you've done on it. And they are, as I say, it's such a wonderfully released EP and such a wonderfully written EP as well. Like it it gives me the feels every time, man. And Best Friend's one of my favorite songs as well. I also really love because you've also got like music videos and stuff that you've recorded and that you've shot for them as well. And I really love your simplicity in just, you know, the fact that, you know, they're nothing too out of this world. They're nothing too like, you know, constructed. They're just really simple videos of you doing everyday things and whatever that just flows really well with the songs that you're writing. And I mean, especially on YouTube, man, like people seem to love them because they've got cracking views, man. And sometimes all you need is like just a really nice visual of yourself doing something and a really great song, and people just get hooked and they really feel for that.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I did study film. Like was my thing when I left school, was studying film and I wanted to shoot music videos. That was like my like thread to music. Like it was like, oh, you know, I ended up not doing that. But so like I've just like music videos are a hard one. I think any band, any artist would agree. Like you can spend as much money as you want.
Yeah.
And like
heaps.
People will take it. Like,
exactly.
Yes. So like I know I myself love just, I'd always just would watch people's music if it was on YouTube and the video, and so I really feel strongly as like every song kind of like has its life sonically, but like it's always a great idea to think, oh, like it would be great to have a visualizer.
100%, yeah.
Whether that's literally a music video or like or just something, right?
Could be like a lyric video or just like some sort of like graphic just to show the art that you want to project onto your song to everyone else to see. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because like I've always seen my music personally as like, I'm like, man, it need like, it's that like you're driving a car and you're just looking out a window kind of like vibe of like
just looking at the views.
Best friend.
Yeah, it's looking like the wind, like the scenery and all the rest of it that's around you as you go along. Yeah,
it's absolutely. The montage in the film where they're just like the characters just looking out the window and they're like faces pressed up against the window and like my music's playing.
An
like
absolute
that's what
deep thought. Yeah,
That's
and
what I
absolutely like
think
deep
of,
thought
like,
and all the rest of it. No, that makes a lot of sense to me
yeah.
as well. But no, dude, as I said, like it's really cool that you've taken that on board and you've given that out. Because I mean, especially with solo artists, I think it's really great to have yourself like, in a video singing your songs to the people, because then they can they can they can tie you to that song instead of tying like words or like visuals and stuff. They can tie you to it, and it gives them an opportunity to kind of meet you as well as an artist. And I think you've really given them that opportunity.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad you said that, bro, because doing the whole band thing, I really learned. I was like, hey, when someone sees the name Clayton Francis and then a photo of like no, I don't say that. A photo of like an apple, and then they see me somewhere on a different medium or social media thing, they're not going to know. Yeah, like, they're not going to go, oh, Clayton Francis, apple, and the face, like his my actual face. So I was really intentional of this project of like music videos have me and like my face is on literally like all of the artworks.
No, that's good. It ties in really well, man. No, for sure.
I'm not that egotistical.
No, but they're good. I love the purple and the blue dynamic, man. They're like my favorite colors. Man. So like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, hey, this guy's got the good stuff going on. But no, as I said, like it's so cool, man. Like, they're so simple concepts, like, just, whether it's you showing pictures of your life with the backdrop or, getting just pulled through the woods with some ropes around your hands, like so simple stuff, man. But, people love it, man. It's really, because even when I saw it, because I mean, I do solo stuff myself and I'm still trying to write my EP and the rest of it as well. And I'm in a bit of a hole with like trying to figure out music videos and that sort of thing as well. And honestly, seeing yours really just sort of gave me a little bit of a lightheaded moment of being like, see, look, like you can do simplistic shit and it works. It can work really well, just as long as it's true and all the rest of it.
I think like I could have definitely done things differently or done things more. I still have like ideas for everything I haven't shot, like because some songs don't have music videos. But I would say, and your creators kind of, we already know this. It's like when there is limited resource or you're confined to a box of imagine, you think, okay, well, how can I like,
get out of that box and really expand.
How can I get blood from the stone kind of thing? Like, so you just get creative, I guess.
And just go with it, which is so cool. This has been so awesome, Clayton. I've really enjoyed talking to you about all this sort of stuff and like
I know we could have done this for
back. I know it's one of those things. Sometimes when you get started, it starts going stuff.
Part one.
Yes, exactly. We can always do a part two sometime, man. No worries at all. But no, I really appreciate you being here and talking to me about all your stuff. And obviously, like, Best Friend EP is out now, so everybody go listen to it on the streaming services and all that sort of thing. On YouTube, go check out these music videos that are, as I said, so simplistic but just so passionate and just so awesome. So give them a listen. Thank you for joining me, Clayton. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks so much, man.
Thank you so much for tuning into the episode this week. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with myself and Clayton. Do check out his EP, Best Friend, available to stream wherever you listen to your music, and watch his music videos on YouTube. There are links in the description of this episode. Please leave a rating and or a review for the show wherever you listen to your podcasts, and I'll see you next week for a new episode with a new guest here on Chasm Converses.